News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. President Trump has warned Iran the U.S. will destroy one bridge or power plant each time Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz.
They're going to pay a big price. They're being decimated.
Details with Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall.
This new threat from President Trump saying that if Iran continues to target commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, we could see the U.S. in turn targeting a bridge or power plant in Iran.
Meanwhile, the U.S. has carried out another wave of airstrikes on Iran, where air defenses opened fire over Tehran. Diplomatic efforts have shown little public sign of progress as officials on both sides dig in over the Strait of Hormuz. Oil now more than 3% higher, WTI topping $87 a barrel, and Brent crude topping $94 a barrel. Turning now to tech, OpenAI says its advanced artificial intelligence models inadvertently hacked Hugging Face in what it calls an unprecedented incident. Bloomberg's Ed Ludlow.
OpenAI was testing GPT 5.6 Sol, that generational model, in combination with a more powerful but unreleased model. And what happened was, instead of simply conducting the test or solving for a benchmark, the models found a way out of a sandbox testing environment.
Bloomberg's Ed Ludlow explains those models were then able to get internet access and then, in essence, cheat by looking for answers on how to beat the evaluation. The incident raises questions about the availability of advanced AI models to carry out cyber attacks and has prompted new calls for curbs on the technology. Advanced Micro Devices and Anthropic have reportedly signed a deal for tens of billions of dollars worth of AI servers. The Wall Street Journal reports under the terms of the agreement, Anthropic will purchase up to 2 gigawatts of AMD's latest generation chips, and AMD will also invest up to $5 billion in Anthropic as certain deployment milestones are met. The deal will help Anthropic meet the surge in demand for its AI tools and strengthen AMD's position against NVIDIA. Apple is set to debut new versions of every Mac it sells, including updates to its desktop computers and laptops. The changes are coming throughout this fall and into next year. The devices have recently gained a following among those who run computing-intensive AI agents. At the same time, a shortage of memory chips has put a strain on manufacturing and forced Apple to raise prices. Wall Street investors are bracing for the start of the high-stakes mega-cap earnings season. Stocks are lower. We check the markets for you all day long here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500, little changed on the upside. NASDAQ is down about 0.1%. The Dow is up about 0.25%. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.64% and the 2-year yield at 4.29%. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index is more than 1% higher, led by NVIDIA, which jumped about 2.5%. President Trump says generic drug manufacturers must move production to the U.S. or face a 100% import duty starting in August of 2028. The move aims at reshoring generic pharmaceutical production in the U.S. Companies that don't build U.S. plants will face levies that will then double to 200% starting in August 2029. Bloomberg's Naomi Kresge.
There are many challenges associated with this for the generic drug industry, partly just because, unlike makers of branded drugs, generic drug makers actually don't produce very much in the U.S., and that's because the U.S. is such a low-cost market for generic drugs.
Bloomberg's Naomi Kresge. The planned tariffs would raise costs for manufacturers, risking higher prices and potential shortages for generic treatments that account for more than 90% of prescriptions in the U.S. President Trump is poised to impose fresh levies on other products from dozens of economies by this Friday. Sources tell Bloomberg the Trump administration proposed new tariffs of at least 10% on 60 trading partners, citing lax forced labor standards, and is preparing to impose duties by the end of the week. Now, this plan is not final. It could still change, but if they do go into effect, the White House will be able to avoid any gap between those expiring temporary charges and the new levies. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.